briefly earlier, Pastor Tatum has a home over in South Fort Worth. You know, y'all know I grew up in the South Fort Worth off of Hattie and Tucker Street over there. And so, yeah, you know, and both of us went to Trimble Tech, you know, and so, you know, that was my stomping ground from block to block over there when I was a heathen. Yeah. Well, I'm still a heathen. Yeah. But what he's doing, and what really resonated with me is because you taking your house, you could sell it, you can rent it out, you can do, give it a tax, whatever, you can abandon it, yeah, whatever, but you choose not to do that. You choose to use that house for good. You know, and as I told you, I have a personal struggle right now, my family, that we're going through that right now. Our mother's house, and then the siblings are unsure what to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm letting y'all know right now, let's turn it into a prayer room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so y'all see it right down the street. It's happening. So it can be done. So you don't need no court. You don't need none of this trash to do good with something that's been left to you. You didn't pay a penny for it.
The value,
yes, sir,
of the land. They understood that God wasn't making any more land.
There you go.
And so the more that you acquire, the more of an inheritance,
yes,
you can leave for the next generation.
That's it.
Money goes up and down and changes.
Every day.
You know, stuff comes and go.
Yes. Yes.
But the land.
It's there.
And so when the entire integration movement happened in Fort Worth, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, over in that area. Remember, white flight left and went to HEB and other areas.
Suburbs.
There was a lot of resentment because in the mid 50s, they didn't want them to rent or sell to black people.
Right, okay.
Right?
We see that.
And so, but our parents
had to get a piece of it.
Saw an opportunity.
Right.
And in spite the resentment and the horrific, they used to burn crosses in yards.
Well, we know what they did to
Miss Opal.
Right, and that's one block from where I grew up on Tucker Street, in Hattie Street. So you know, my grandmother was over there, and little people who know my story, you know, I lived house to house with aunts and grandmothers. You know, what I'm saying, that's how I moved around. But
follow me here.
Yes, sir, I got you.
So that was a older community, historic community. And you know what they say about real estate, location, location, location.
Right.
You can see downtown from over there.
Exactly.
Right? But the experience of those kids, us, caused us not to value that anymore. So we started migrating to other places, devaluing what mother and them left us. And so we either sold it, lost it to taxes,
Right.
or got into family disputes and hung it up, and so it was of no value to anyone.
Exactly.
But in that whole process, you had redlining, you couldn't get insurance, you had a whole bunch of other factors. So people say, why deal with that? And they left. Well, I left too, so I'm no different. I left at 18 and then come back to 38.
That's the 20 years.
That's the 20 years. So I went to Charlton, from Charlton to North Texas, from North Texas, I spent a summer at Texas Woman's, director of the program there. Then I went down to San Marcos to Texas State now and worked in the dean's office. So I had no desire to come back to Fort Worth. Again, about that journey. And I set it up, a personality. It was all going the way I wanted to go. But it wasn't God's way. It was my way. I was being good enough.
Yeah.
Not to get caught.
Yeah, not to get caught.
Right. And God said, and then so excelling well in community, in civil rights, politics. I did more public policy up at the Capitol, you know, reading and checking and making sure public policy was right, that made it to including people. So I had a splendid life with all that, but it wasn't his will. Well, at least not first. You know, it says, seek ye first, Matthew 6:33, the kingdom of God, and then all that other stuff will be added.
Right.
I wanted the stuff. So I got all the stuff. And then the year was 2001. My older brother died. I had a brother who dove into a swimming pool and died. My mother was sick, she died. Grandfather died, aunt died, my brother's son died. So when 180 days, I had all this death.
180 days.
Yeah, and it was just unreal, right? And then if that didn't, you know, hurt the situation, my marriage was collapsing. I hired a man to manage, and he manipulated me out of my ministry. So I lost my marriage, my money, my ministry, my mother. You know, I was in a state of complete chaos, but I was still together because God was still with me. I mean, I wasn't doing it his way, but he was still with me because he had me on this journey.
Right.
And so, and I never forget my wife at the time, she got showered with gasoline. After all of that, she got showered before I got divorced. She got showered with gasoline at a pump. The thing came off. She's on city council and things. And my little son at the time, he said, call daddy, he knows what to do. Because she was panicking. So she called me. And I remember leaving, going to the gas station to check on my family because they were prolonging bringing the ambulance and everything. Long story, but
Right.
I was at this stoplight, and I told the Lord, this is too much.
Gotcha.
And I said, if you don't let her die, I'll do it your way.
Okay.
But I knew that if he let her live,
You got
and
to
I
put
was
work
gonna,
in.
I was going to do it his way, and she was going to go the other way.
I see what you're saying.
You know, I knew that.
Right.
So I knew that was going to be the breaking point.
Mm.
God's way or her way. And a lot of men do it her way
Exactly.
instead of God's way. And then we wonder why we're in this spot, because we don't want to lose her, but we're really giving up on God.
You can preach on that all day long, me.
That's a part of it.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you run from God.
Yeah.
You know, because you're really keeping him out of the equation. It's like you have a bunch of numbers, but you don't have a plus sign, you don't have a minus sign, you don't have an equal sign. You just numbers running together. But when you add him to the equation, then things start setting up according to his will and his way. And so that, I remember reading The Secret of the Vine by Bruce Wilkerson. And I'll recommend that book to anyone who's struggling with what God is calling them to do. And Bruce Wilkerson, in that book, is I want to say 14, John 14, I am the tree, the vine.
Yes, sir.
And I can't get it right now, but it's all about what you connected to.
Yeah, the branch. Yeah.
But here's the part that got me, and he says, sometimes you're growing, you're glowing, but God has to come and prune you to take that off so that you can blossom.
Exactly.
And so what he was telling me, some people I'm connected with is stopping me from really blooming to what God wanted me to be. And so that became part of that journey. So he had to cut all of that off and sent me back to Fort Worth. Because I was doing well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that became, so fast forward, home 20 years, still not connected to the prayer house. I'm still not connected to my childhood home.
Right.
All the stuff I'm doing in Fort Worth, I'm still not connected. My brothers, no matter, talking about family,
Yeah, yeah.
all of the family dynamics, all that's going on. And I had no desire. That was fine. I had desire for the home to become better,
Right.
but I had no desire to do that or deal with that or live with that. I mean, I'm over in Southwest Fort Worth. You know.
So when did that click? So I'm gonna try to stick to my little script. I know I'm a rabbit hole we'll take down. So you're not thinking about the prayer room, you know. Was there a light switch? Was there something that when you drove by and somebody give you the idea with texting them? How did that work?
No, I was able to get it back through taxes.
Okay, so they almost about to lose the house.
I get served by the constable that it's going on the courthouse step. And I'm embarrassed because I know my mother left me as the executive, right?
Right.
But I didn't want to fool with the family. But when that paper came to me and said, we're finna take mama's house, then I went into action. And that's when I saved the house. I didn't say God saved the house, but this is what I had to do. I had to repent to mama and to God because she told me what to do. But I just didn't want to fool with it, you know? And so I secured the house. I've been working with A&M on the coffee project for the church, but we were not going anywhere with that.
Okay.
And then the staff at the youth.
Yep, York. Yep. Yes, sir. We're part of.
They came to me saying that we need housing.
Right.
Those kids, some of them get out, don't have anywhere to stay. And as they're talking to me, I'm hearing my mother in my other ear. That's her. That's her. That's what she wanted to do, identify and train talented youth so that they can become the best they can be. That's my mom. And I told them I had this house.
Right.
And that's when they said, well, we got Youth Build, AmeriCorps, in Europe, we can all work and restore the house. We went in to restore the house in the back part, which was an add-on, it was all rotten. So we decided, let's take that down and build a new dorm, something new, so they can have up-to-date.
Before we get into the building part, can we tell them about the concept of everything?
Well, and this model was built out of necessity, not out of ingeniousness. I mean, you know, don't call nobody a genius yet. So during the pandemic, in that South 76104, right before the 2019, we found out it has the lowest life expectancy in all of Texas. All those issues. And it was bad. Put the pandemic on top of that. And through this whole pandemic, one of the craziest things, those people didn't have bankers. They didn't have financial institutions. Money was not circulating in that community. And so the little we got, we kept putting it out, but we got access to food and other things, but we never had access to capital. Right. So you see the community is a depressed community. The average income is $22,221.22, 21 cents. You know,
that's hard to live on.
Life expectancy is 64 years if you're a black man, 67 on average. And I saw this and I'm like, there's no way we're gonna survive. And I just happened to see a video of Texas A&M promoting their coffee center to international countries, helping poor people in international companies grow a better bean to make a better profit so that they could stay home and raise their kids. And the concept came to me, if they could have international people stimulate their economy, I wonder if they could help stimulate the inner city economy. So I called A&M and talked to their folk and I said, hey, we need help. Our community is depressed economically, you know, medically and otherwise. I said, you all are doing this in international cities. Do you believe specialty coffee can stimulate the inner city? And they said, yes, we do believe. And that's began our relationship. So I said, listen, I need you all. We need to create something that people, no matter where they are, find themselves in life, that if they follow the script, they can become successful and make their own living. And so I brought that concept, and the church rejected it, pushed back on it, the older members.
Right.
Because they remember the church is supposed to be just a building, you come and worship and go home. But you have this 15,000 square foot facility in the best location in town to serve the people in need, and you just want to do right. That's never been mine. That's what I'm saying. Hanging out with the heathens.
Right.
He was out hanging out with heathens.
That's it.
Leading them to God. So it all just started coming together. When they asked me about the house for them to live, I said, but I have a coffee idea that I've been trying to launch. So not just give them transitional living, let's give them transformational training. So that while they're there, they're serious about wanting to make a better living. And that's when I was, had met Obedience. He's an older guy, but he was in the game. And he was showing me his paperwork. And on his paperwork it said 200 to 400 grams. 200 to 400 grams. 200 to 400 grams. Arrested. 2 years, 4 years. I said, man. I said, what in the world?
That's it.
But he had the skill set.
Yeah.
And then I told him, I said, it's the same grams. It's a different gram. And then that became the mantra. And so they said, yes, we've been working on trying to do the house. We've been trying to get people to understand the concept. So the model is a 3-part model, all centered in the Bible and biblical principles. But it's residential. They'll have a nice place to be able to get better.
Right.
I left in trauma at 18.
Right.
But Tarleton had everything I need to overcome my trauma. I had 3 square meals, a place to stay. They gave me tutoring, counseling, everything I needed because I could catch a football and ran fast. Most of these kids will never get that opportunity. So bring it to them, give them the same chance to overcome their trauma, but then learn a real trade that they can use their hands to make their own money. We did a research project for Trimble Tech, and we discovered that the reason the black kids were not motivated, they could not connect what they were learning in school to making money. And it was an unfair process. So once you show them that process, they are just as motivated as everyone else.
They can see themselves. They can see themselves being used to something that they want to do. Not something that's being forced on.
That's why we want the kids that we work with have a desire to do something, like make entrepreneurial spirit, a little different. They believe they can make it. Those are the ones we want to give a shot at this. And so it's residential, retraining, and then the retail. And here's the neat part about the retail. We're instituting a import-export piece of this so that they can learn international trade. So we're going to have 1 or 2 or 3 of them who will get it.
Yep.
But when they get it, they'll be able to make their living right there in that chair and not have to leave their little chair to make a living. So they don't, same grams, different grind.
Y'all heard that, right? Same gram, different grind. Coming from the prayer room with Pastor Tatum. Hey, we're here at Streetside Classic. We had our monthly For Wealthy Word podcast show. We have Pastor Tatum. Come on out. Like I said, the weather is great. We want to thank Dunkin' Donuts this morning for supporting us with the donuts and the cup with the box of Joe. And so, we've been talking about what they're going to be doing over there at the prayer room. We talked about the kids that's coming out, helping out. So I saw the video with Channel 4. You actually see these kids putting in work. They got the sledgehammers, they got the hard hats, they safety gear on. They're actually putting in work, trying to make this their dream. They're working to make their dream work.
We told them, said, listen, this is for you and it should be by you.
Right.
We want you to help us design this. We want you to be a part of laying the foundation. This is for teens, and every one of them have been troubled. I was a troubled teen, but my mom wouldn't give up on me. She was going to kill me before she gave up on me. But a lot of these kids understand not having somewhere to sleep, even if they're with their moms. They're moving from place to place, can't pay rent, can't do this. So that transit mindset is an unsettling mindset. Not being able to eat 3 square meals a day is an unsettling mindset. So
it adds to the trauma.
So when you have them from that 18 to 24, it's a critical time. You can lose a lot of them, which you do, but you can save some of that group. I was a testament of one that was saved, so I know it's possible. And so it takes grown-ups not giving up on them. It takes grown-ups willing to invest in them. It takes grown-ups willing to train them. so that they can be better people. And I know, like Mr. Mitchell,
Right.
he saw the preacher in me before I wanted to preach, and now I wouldn't want to do anything else. Right.
But you just mentioned about it takes adults, it takes people to invest in our youth, in our community. Yeah, and earlier I mentioned a few great people. Tell me, what would you say to the neighbors that surround you, to the companies that surround Kobe, to any company or family, to get more involved in the community, get more involved in the prayer room? And I'm going to ask you later how they can connect with you to support you. And so it's a lot of us like to go to work, maintaining my business, shut my door, lock my door, and do it all over again. Don't want to get into the community. What would you say to those individuals? I don't want to say shut out the community or shut out the youth. I don't want to say that they gave up on our communities, but it's hard not to say. But because it's hard right now. You see the school shootings. Every night I go to bed, 3 or 4 nights I go to bed with gunfire. Tires squealing, loud music, but the next day I get up, I still worry about my community. I still worry about the youth out there. So how do you tell them, say, get back involved, don't give up?
Well, for me, it's show them. I mean, I'm a preacher that was taught this early on. I'd rather see a good sermon than to hear one.
Okay.
And a lot of them like to talk about it, but nobody wants to really roll up their sleeves and be about it.
Exactly.
And so the hope and desire, just like Jesus is, by you engaging, by you demonstrating, it inspires others to want to engage. Terrell Patterson wrote a book, and I'm waiting for him to come back in the book so we can have a book thing with it. It's called Addicted to Lies.
Okay.
And somebody told us that get in a house, buying all the things in your house,
Right.
staying in your house, just minding your own business, don't be concerned about no one else, pursue your American dream, and just live that way, and life will be fine. But you and I both know that that's not true.
It's not.
So when you live your life in that kind of selfish mindset, you miss your true ability to take what has been given to you, to give. The grace is to give, to be able to instill it in other folk. A generation of folk who are innocent. They have no clue. They did not choose to come into this world. I mean, people who give up on children amaze me. Because just imagine if they gave up on us.
Yeah.
Somebody had to take my son called me in the head one time. I wanted to knock him out, but in the real sense, someone has to be able to hang out with the heathens.
Yeah.
To show them it's a better way.
Yeah.
Not becoming them, but somebody has to be able to say, boy, I see something better in you.
Exactly.
I had a college dean who told me that I was a dumb child. Because that's what they expected, right?
Right.
I mean, I was there to play football.
Yeah.
Really. And he said something, and it changed my life. He said, you are smarter than you're acting. He said, you're a better man. Greg Sawyer. And when he said that to me, my sweats on, acting jockeys. He was a former jockey. And then he gave me one of Dr. King's speeches. He said, I want you to learn this because I want you to recite it at the next meeting. At the next MLK ceremony. So that was over. I said, what?
Let's start on this side and go.
Man, I was ready. I did that. It rocked my world.
Okay.
The applause and people. I was used to it on the football
Then
field.
we can go
'cause I was
there.
there. But now I'm in another area.
Then come back.
Now you got your comfort zone.
He and gave me a whole new perspective.
Wow.
And the thing about Dr. King, I promise you, I was just as dumb and just as stupid as everyone else. But when I heard Dr. King's Drum Makes Instinct speech, the one he talked about the Good Samaritan, and he talked about the guys wanted to sit at his right and left hand, James and John.
Okay.
And he was saying everybody has that. I want to be out front. I want to be that person. But he said the greatest among you shall be a servant. No. The great among you shall be a servant, but the chiefest among you shall be servants of all. And that clicked in my head. And so Greg was getting me in position to be a servant. So he would take us over to the elementary schools and start talking to the kids. He would get us involved in activities on campus. So it became more about focusing on others than on just yourself. And I promise you, my healing came through my service. So it's a beautiful thing. And so I've been serving in these kind of spaces about 88, 87.
Okay.
And this is what I learned when I went to seminary. Seminary, Austin Presbyterian, that 70% of pastors don't feel comfortable outside of the pulpit. They believe that comfort, like you said, out your comfort zone. And we saw it during COVID. Most of the pastors did not know what to do for emergency response. Praise God, we were prepared to do it.
Well, I'll tell you what, we discussed a lot. I'm going to be with just two things I want to hit on before we get out of here. Three things, I'll take that back. Three things I want to hit on. The first thing is, how can people reach you? How can people support you? What are your needs right now?
Well, we just need help. We need all kind of help. People with different skill sets. We're in the restoration phase.
Yes, sir.
So we need people with skills, people with licenses. This has been a mission project. I told them from the beginning, we have no money, we have this house.
Exactly.
And we have hope, and we have this dream. And I believe God and my mother are cheering us on if we just stay committed. When we decided to do that new dormitory, then that's going to cost us about $1 million. So I got to raise money. That's that's my job, to raise money now, cast the vision and pray for the provisions, right? So people who have a heart to give, who want to come and be a part of something, this is an incredible model. I go, like you said, every neighborhood that has troubled kids and a house that nobody's doing anything productive with can become a harvest of hope in some of these young heathens and give them a shot at it earlier. You follow me?
Oh, yeah.
The earlier we give them a shot at it, the more likely they're going to rise to the occasion. The later in life we do it, they're stuck in their ways and they're not going to want to do it. But the more we create this. So I'm at New Melrose Missionary Baptist Church on the corner of Mississippi and Glen Garden.
Yes, sir.
I give myself no out to everyone because I'm a community servant. I'm a minister of the gospel, so you can call me. You might have to pray for me to return all of them, but I do the best I can with what I got.
We will get back with you.
I'll just take some time because, man, it's 817-966-7625.
All right.
And then our email is kptatum1@gmail.com, which is also our Zelle, kptatum1@gmail.com. If people just want to give $5, $10, every dollar adds up. We had to stop a lot of the work because we ran out of money. And so we're hoping to put these all over the world, starting here in Fort Worth, and then communities. There are communities all over this country that need something to give these kids a different good shot.
All right, so now my last thing I have is what we briefly talked on. It's about, and it's going to be a fundraiser.
Yes,
on Main Street.
So every third, Dr. King came to Fort Worth on October 22nd, 1959.
Okay.
It was a well-kept secret.
Okay.
And then we decided to do a marker downtown to honor that day.
Okay.
And that's always the third Saturday of October. So it started out as just a little small, it's still small, but a little festival where we just created his dream, where we can come together,
Okay.
and that's what it was during the time, 2018, 19, all the racial unrest.
Right.
And so we were trying to say, hey, let's talk it out, don't fight it out, let's talk it out. And then we got the coffee the coffee collaboration with Texas A&M
Yes, sir.
in 2021. So we shifted to coffee because there was no coffee festival in Fort Worth at the time.
Okay.
So we created the Fort Worth Coffee Festival down there. So the last 2 or 3 years, we've been going down there, feeding, serving coffee and things, until we get that promotion guy, like you said, right?
Yep.
We had the cars out there the first time, we couldn't keep it sustained. So it's all a real neat idea. And man, I walked through this candy store today. Lord have mercy.
Speaking of candy store, there's Miss Denise right there. And so
It's so sweet.
we're gonna make that jump off. Like I said, we have
Let's do it.
three great car show hosts here. And I hope y'all mind me sharing. We got Mr. Brian, DFW Car Show. We got Time Machine, and we got D&D Rocket Rods. So we're gonna be reaching out to them. October's right around the corner.
Yeah.
You know, so we're gonna start prepping it. We're gonna make that much better. And we're gonna start. I'm in on it. If you don't mind having me with some cars, with some people.
Our goal is to create the atmosphere
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
where people can learn to agree to disagree, but still work together and not be disagreeable.
Yes, sir.
This whole notion of the idea that you disagree with me, I have to counsel you, and you're no longer a value of importance. It's just about as crazy as you can make it. And whoever supports that got some things they need to deal with the Lord.
Right. Right.
But I just believe it doesn't happen automatically. You have to be intentional. And so you have to create intentionality in these kinds of opportunities. And there's nothing we've seen, two things we've seen that help people have better conversations. One is coffee. If you get a cup of coffee and chill out, they have a good time. And the other is baseball.
Okay. Well, as y'all know, on the last episode, I took my first sip of coffee. It didn't go so well.
That's
I
okay.
never had a sip of coffee. Y'all watched that episode. I almost gagged, and I was like, "What?" So it was two cups of Dunkin'
Yes,
over
sir.
there.
Yes.
I picked the wrong cup.
You picked the wrong
It
cup.
wasn't my hot chocolate.
Oh my.
And so it was coffee. And I'm 52 years old.
Yes.
My big mama, coffee was all in the house. That was our soda back in the day.
Yes, sir.
Add that sugar in there, kids running around for days. You know
Oh
what I'm
my
saying? And
goodness,
so,
they didn't know this.
exactly. You know, and so, but I just
But this
couldn't-
coffee is healthy. You know, and I like your thing, you got Fort Wealthy work.
That's it. That's
And I'm
it.
glad you said wealth is not just about money, but
doing
it's about
okay,
a
sir?
life, a life where your mind, body, and spirit are healthy. You know, and when they're healthy, you're wealthy. You know, I had more money back in the day when I was telling you, when the Lord allowed me to do what I want to do.
That's it.
Just miserable. You know, I had it all. And then when I lost it all, right? I am more happier and healthier now in my spirit man, in my inner man, than I ever been in my life.
Spirit, I like that.
So it's
a wild
journey.
thing.
It's a journey.
I can't understand. I'm not gonna tell you no lie. And next coming up, we're gonna be talking to a young man who's seen a little of my past, but we're not gonna dial into that. But having stuff, thinking you're gonna be happy, you know, you get that taste of that life, but you're not fulfilled. It's crazy. It's a crazy mindset. I don't understand it now. You know, I'm broke as I ever been, but I'm happy as I ever been.
But I think you get to that point, especially if you go into ministry, because it's the old saying, Lord, keep him humble because we'll keep him poor.
Exactly. That's
Right?
what
So,
it does.
so I mean, it's not that when you fall out of the love of money, of just the ambition and drive to just acquire money for the sake of acquiring it, so that for status or powerful privilege, then you can get on the right journey of finding your purpose. A lot of people try to throw that in the middle of their purpose, and then when they obtain it, then it's still no purpose. So it's keep the main thing is what we say. Young people, one young lady, when she was being interviewed, she said, "We're just living a lie." I said, "Yes, ma'am, you are. We've sold you a bunch of lies. We told you to grow up, get the American dream, get a house, 2 cars, do your own thing, and life is great." And they get it, and they're still miserable. The kids are miserable. They're not with the kids. It's a lie.
You gotta break that chain.
We have to break it.
But Pastor Tatum, I appreciate you coming on.
All right,
And, hey, I'm gonna repeat this. I'm gonna let him repeat, but I like it. What is it? The same?
Same grams, different grams.
Man, don't get no better than that.
If you change your mind.
If you change your mindset, you change your mind. So, hey, we want to thank you for for Pastor Tatum coming out. Remember, guys, it's the prayer room. You Google prayer room, it's gonna pull up for Pastor Tatum. Google prayer room Pastor Tatum.
Well, actually, Google Same grams, different grinds.
Same.
You put that
Well, I
in
tell
Google
you,
that.
boy, that's-
You'll see Yahoo, Fox, it's catching on, right?
yeah, oh, yeah.
And this one guy, he did a podcast, this big podcast, 75,000 yesterday, was trending. I was like, good Lord. Because people know people need hope.
That's it. That's it.
And you harvest hope.
Right.
Which means you got to cultivate.
I wish I would have got that one. That's because that grind out there. We all understand it, you know. What I'm
It
saying?
is.
We all
It's the grind. You're on the grind.
Man, that's what we are.
You change the grind.
That's
Lord
it.
have
That's
mercy.
it. And amen to that. Amen to that. But I thank you, sir. We get ready for that car show festival. We're gonna make that happen.
Bulwark Coffee Festival, October, third weekend in October, that's Saturday. Should be fun. I mean, I wish we could have all these cars out there, boy. I
We're
tell
gonna have
you.
a few of them.
Let's sell some cars, man, on Main Street.
Hey, you talk about Streetside Classics. Hey, we thank y'all. Stay tuned. We're gonna keep this going. We got our next guest here, our next Mr. Warren, Mr. Kobe Warren. Can't wait from Warren and Healy law firm, as you see the young man over. He's representing. He got a swag on. He got a swag on. And so, Pastor Taylor, thank you.
So can I give one announcement?
Yes, sir.
Today is our 60th, and it's connected with Hope Farm.
Okay.
We're celebrating our 60th church anniversary. We've been over on the south side since 1964. Pastor Winfrey Kelly. And this is our 60th anniversary, and we had a complete devastation of our church, and it's been restored and everything is unbelievable. So we'll be at Hope Farm today at 6 o'clock, and you still have time to come. Chef AJ has done a splendid job.
Y'all don't know about Chef AJ.
Oh my goodness.
Let me tell you.
You need a
Let me tell
chef
you.
for an event. Call her.
She is.
Her heart is unbelievable.
She did this fish last, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, and man, I'm still at the bottom of the pan. I was like, hey, that butter on there, that garlic that she did, man, Chef AJ.
Shout out to Chef AJ and Hope Farm because
Exactly,
they're
exactly.
allowing us to utilize their facilities.
Exactly. I might be seeing you this evening.
All right, come on by.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And hey, we'll be right back. We're gonna keep it rolling. Thank y'all. Hey, come get some of these donuts. We still got some left.
Hey, yeah,